Hi everyone, I welcome everyone to my YouTube channel, the ultimate destination for unique kind of education, entertainment and inspiration. Hit the subscribe button and the notification bell to join our ever-growing community. Welcome to our in-depth exploration of isometric projection, a powerful tool for bringing three-dimensional objects to life on a three-dimensional plane. I will guide you through each step, breaking down the process into simple, easy to follow instructions. Whether you are an aspiring architect, 3D modeling enthusiast, isometric projection is a valuable technique that can be applied in various fields. Isometric projection of a cube on which we are going to place a cone. I am going to demonstrate step-by-step procedure how we follow in the SolidWorks. Click on SolidWorks, select new option, and out of three modules, part, assembly and drawing module, we are going to select the drawing module, and there are different standard formats, out of which we will select A4 ANSI landscape, and we are going to make sure before starting of every problem the unit system has been set. Here the isometric projection of a cube will be drawn first, followed by cone. Then we are going to integrate the cone at the center of the cube. First we are going to draw a horizontal reference line and two random inclined lines. Then we use smart dimension to make sure the angle of this inclined lines is set to 30 degree for isometric projection. Also, we have to make sure that both the lines is the size of the cube, which is 70 mm as specified in the question. Once it is done, we are going to draw the lateral edges followed by the top surface of the cube. So we have drawn a 70 mm line, two inclined lines at 30 degree. Then we can draw two lines again at 30 degree, or maybe we can select both the lines which we have drawn at the bottommost face, and we can use copy entity to copy the line in which we have to specify what is the starting point and what is the end point of the line. Now we can draw the lateral edge of the cube where the size of the lateral edge is 70 mm. We use smart dimension of a vertical line. Once it is done, again on the other edge we can go for the line option, or maybe we can just select the edge from which you want to copy and we can drag and we can place it onto the extreme edge. Once it is done, the bottommost face of the cube and the top face of the cube remains the same. So there is no need to draw it once again. We have already drawn, so that we can select all the bottommost faces or the edges, and then we can just copy all the edges and we can move it to the topmost surface. Now whatever we are seeing is isometric view of a cube. At the last we are going to scale it down to 0.816. Now we are enhancing the size of the line. For the darker lines we are making it as 0.5. For thin lines we are keeping it as 0.16. The next step is to identify what is the center point of the cube. So we are going to draw horizontal lines through the extreme edges and the perpendicular line to that particular extreme edges. We have completed the cube portion. Now we are going to draw a cone portion. Here either we can draw it on the same sheet, or maybe we can use a separate sheet to draw the cone. So here we have selected another sheet 2. We can rename it as cone, or maybe if you are comfortable with sheet 2 we can go ahead with this. And here also we have to make sure that at the right bottommost corner it should be millimeter gram second. The base diameter of the cone, it is specified as 40 mm. Whenever we are drawing two random lines, we have to make sure that those random lines is of size 40 mm. For the sake of isometric projection, the angle between those two lines should be 30 degree. Once it is done, either we can draw two lines with the help of line option, or maybe we can follow the same procedure which we have followed for cube. That is, we can select the line and we can go for move option. Since the dimension 40 mm is comparatively less to that of 70 mm, so you can magnify that particular portion for the better modeling or better drawing of the cone. Here we have copied both the edges. Here we are using copy entity, select the line, then we are selecting the starting point and the end portion of the base portion of the cone. So now we can, from a particular point to the midpoint of the opposite two edges, we are going to draw two lines. Once it is done, again we are going to replicate the same procedure on the opposite edge and we are going to obtain two V lines to the midpoints. The next procedure is to draw the arc. Select the starting point or the center point and the next point at which you want to start the arc, and you just click on the end point from which the arc has to be ended. Follow the same procedure for the other V portion of this particular base portion. Now identify the intersection portion and now select the center point, and now you can draw the starting point of the arc and the end point of the arc. So now in the figure here you can see what is the center point, what is the starting point and what is the end point with the help of three blue lines. So now we have obtained the base portion of the cone. Now we are going to draw what is the axis of the cone. The axis of the cone is specified as 70 mm. So from the center portion we are going to draw 70 mm. Then again we are going to use line option to make sure that it is tangent to the basemost portion, that is the elliptical part. Now from the topmost portion, here we are going to draw a straight line. We have to make sure and we have to be careful that until and unless we get the icon called as tangent icon, there is no need to extend beyond that. So suppose if you are clicking at some other point, so the extreme slant edge will be in a different part. So we have to be very careful whenever we are drawing the slant edge, and it should be the tangent to the bottommost ellipse. Now we are copying the cone to the first sheet, where exactly we want to position the cone at the center of the cube. We know what is we have already identified the center point of the cube, and now we are just using move entity and we are selecting we have selected the entity of the cone and we have placed it at the center. So the next thing is we have to make sure we have to remove the unwanted or maybe irrelevant portion of the cone, for which we are using trim entity, which is there at the left topmost corner, where there are different types of trim: power trim, corner trim, trim away inside, trim away outside and trim to the closest, out of which we are using trim to closest option, and we are making sure that we are removing the unwanted portion. We have to be very much careful. Either we have to zoom the particular portion in which we can remove the unwanted portion, otherwise we might be left with some of the portion which is already existing there. Now almost all the portion has been removed. Now you can zoom all the portion once again and to check whether we have removed and all the things. Once it is done, you select the cone portion using control option, or maybe you can use the box option to select all the remaining entities, and finally you are going to dark the portion which are visible. Now we have finally completed. We have placed the cone on the surface of the cube. The next procedure is to scale down to 0.816. Select the cube and the cone, and here you have one option called as scale entity. Select it and it will be asking what is the point at which you want to scale. Select the starting point and here you can scale it to 0.816. Now you can see the dimension using smart dimension. Initially the length was 70 mm. Now it has been reduced to 57.12 mm. That is, now we can see the exact isometric projection of the cube. So once again, I thank all the viewers for actively participating in this session. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming tutorials, challenges and inspiring showcases. Thank you very much and have a great day.